Hi guys, today I'm going to go through some of the stretches that I like to give patients to help release their pelvic floor and release their hips and low back. These are yoga poses that I've found through my own practice really help me release my own pelvic floor. So if you're uncomfortable with these or they hurt, please don't do them if they hurt, and find a yoga practitioner or a pelvic floor therapist near you to help guide you through the exercises to make sure that they're comfortable. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if you have a yoga mat, let's start on your hands and knees. This one's called cat-cow. So you're just going to round your back up and down, breathing out as you round up and breathing in as you round down. So I would do a couple of rounds of that. I'm not going to turn this into a whole yoga class, so go ahead and pause the video between each explanation of the exercise so that you can actually spend as long as you need doing the exercise or stretch. Sometimes you need 2 or 3 minutes in each pose to really get the full benefit out of it. So the next one we're going to do is downward dog. So if this is accessible to you, you're going to tuck your toes underneath you. You're going to lift up your hips, push your bottom back, aim your heels to the floor, and press your armpits toward your knees, okay? I like to hold downward dog for a while. In this pose, to get the most benefit out of it, I try to press the mat away from me with my hands and then away from me with my heels. So I'm kind of increasing the distance between my hands and my feet. And then as I exhale, I try to lengthen along my spine. Okay, so I breathe in, and then as I exhale, I'm lengthening along my spine, which in turn will draw my tailbone upward a little bit and give my pelvic floor a bit of a stretch. You might try swaying side to side. You might try bending one knee and straightening the other, and then switching. Just kind of play with this pose and see what feels comfortable to you, okay? From there, to open up the hip, let's put one foot in the middle of the mat and raise the other leg up. So from here, I'm trying to reach my top foot towards the ceiling, away from my shoulders, keeping my shoulders square, and then I'm going to bend my knee, open my hip, and just try to open up the front of my hip here. So I'm not rolling back so far that my arms start opening up. I'm keeping my arms squared forward, just opening that hip, okay? So stay there as long as you'd like. Then you're going to come back down to the mat, and this one I like to rotate the thoracic spine. Getting a good stretch there can really help open up the spine and the pelvic floor. So I'm going to keep one arm on the mat. The other arm, I'm going to reach underneath the armpit of the arm that's still on the mat, okay? So I'm reaching through, I'm kind of pushing with the hand that's on the mat and twisting through my thoracic spine, okay? And then maybe take some good breaths there. Think about your pelvic floor letting go and relaxing, okay? And then I would do that to the other side. The next one would be child's pose. So I'm going to spread my knees the width of my mat. I'm going to bring my bottom toward my heels, reach my arms forward, and lay my head on the mat. This one I stay in for a long time because it feels really good. So what I'm thinking about here is my pelvic floor opening as I breathe in, and then it naturally will lift back up as I breathe out. So I try to keep my breath, nice and calm, but I may hold the inhale for a minute just to get a nice opening of that pelvic floor. Okay, from there, we'll turn sideways. Bring your knees wide, feet apart, and toes kind of pulled back towards your face. Don't do this one if you have any issues with pubic bone pain. This may be uncomfortable. But if it's comfortable for you, you're going to come down to your elbows if that's accessible, or you may stay up on your hands. But we're just letting those inner thighs stretch out and letting the pelvic floor drop in this position. And I may hold this for 1 or 2 minutes, depending on what feels comfortable. The inner thighs are a big group of muscles that insert right into the pelvic floor, and they can cause a lot of tension in the front of our pelvic floor, as well as our hips. The next one is a straddle stretch. So your legs are gonna go out wide, and then you're just gonna walk yourself forward as far as your body lets you. You can keep your back straight, or you can round down. Do whatever feels best, and just kind of stay in that position as long as you feel like your muscles are releasing and they're not hurting. Okay, the next one is gonna be putting one elbow inside of your inner thigh and then reaching the other arm over your head towards your toes. Now with this, I don't want you folding forward and collapsing to reach that foot. If you don't reach your foot, that's okay. You want to keep yourself open, your shoulders stacked, and kind of looking up towards the ceiling while reaching that top arm towards your toes. Getting a stretch of the lats or the latissimus dorsi is really going to help release around the low back and the hip. Okay, so I may hold this for 30 or 60 seconds and then switch sides. And you may notice a big difference from side to side. That's pretty normal. The next one for the inner thighs would be a butterfly stretch. Okay, so this one you put the bottom of your feet together, you get your back straight, and you're going to pull yourself towards your feet. You can use your elbows to push down your knees. You also could round your back if you want to get a different type of stretch out of it. Do whatever's comfortable, and again, stay there for 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, then I like to do pigeon pose to open up the hip. I start off with my front foot. You can have the heel close to your groin, or you can have it out far. If it's out farther, that's going to be a lot bigger of a stretch. So I tend to keep it in closer because I'm not quite as flexible in this way. You're going to reach your back leg behind you. So we're going to start off on this stretch getting a hip flexor stretch on the leg that's in the back, okay? And here I'm going to push my chest up towards the ceiling and squeeze my knees straight on the leg that's behind me. So this is a big hip opener in my hip flexor on this back leg. Once I feel like I've gotten enough of a stretch there, then I'm going to bend forward and fold over my front leg, okay? Don't lay your hips down on that front hip on the mat. You're going to keep yourself square to the front of your mat. And then this one, stay as long as you like. Some people are up here, some people are on their elbows, and some people are laid down. You just want to be somewhere that it's really comfortable for you. Okay, I would do that on both sides. The next one is going to be kind of a low back stretch and a hamstring stretch. So for this one, I like our feet to be out in front of us, toes pulled back towards your face. That's going to get some nerve glide action going on in the sciatic nerve. And then I like to tuck my chin to my chest and fold forward. Now I can reach my feet. Some people can just reach their shins. Some people can't keep their legs straight, and so they have them bent. There's all sorts of variations. If you're somebody that can keep your legs straight, toes pulled back, chin to your chest, you're going to breathe in, and on the exhale, I want you to lengthen along your spine and pull yourself closer to your feet. Okay, then you hold that for a minute. You inhale, open up the back as you inhale, and then as you exhale, you lengthen your spine and pull towards your feet. Okay? Sometimes I do that one, I don't know, 10 or 15 breaths before I move on to the next pose. Okay, the last one that we're going to do here is, I call it a C stretch. I don't know what the technical name for it is. But laying on your mat, you're going to walk your feet off to one side of your mat. Okay? Then you're going to bring, let's say I walk my feet off to the right. I'm going to bring my left arm up over my head, and I'm going to grab my left elbow with my right hand. Okay? And then I'm going to pull my body, my upper body, including my arms, off to the right. So my feet are to the right, and my upper body and my arm are to the right. Okay, so I'm opening up the left side of my body. I'm going to take nice deep breaths here, trying to open up the rib cage on the left side. I'm going to feel a big stretch too in my front and side of my left hip. So I might try, if I need more of a stretch, bringing that left leg a little further over and then crossing my right foot over my left knee. What that will do is give my outer left hip more of a stretch. So this one I really like to hold for a long time. I might do 2 or 3 minutes in this position and then switch sides. So what it looks like to switch to the other side is my legs go to the left, my arms come up, I grab my elbows, walk my upper body to the left, okay? And you try to keep your rib cage down. Don't let your rib cage fold over. So I walk my upper body to the left, and then I'm going to cross my left leg over my right knee to just give a little bit of extra stretch to that right hip. And again, I'm holding here. Every breath I take in, I'm trying to make the space between my rib cage and my pelvis expand. Try to make it bigger. Okay? So those are some of the exercises that I use to open up the pelvic floor, the hips, and the low back. Always, if you have pain, see your doctor or a physical therapist. This is designed for the general population. It is not designed to treat your specific problem. So these are general exercises that you can try to loosen up those areas. Hope you enjoy, and I will see you next time.